Hi, welcome. This is Rooney 207 again. For this particular session here, we'll cover the AICPA's SOC2, the Service Organization Control, and we're going to go in a little bit detailed here. But earlier, the previous video, we covered the security, and prior to that, we did an overview for the SOC2. For this particular video, we'll cover the confidentiality trust service principle. And for this one, it's pretty short for the confidentiality. There's just two criteria. And essentially, the entity needs to identify and maintain and also dispose. So those are the two criteria description that we will have to look at. And then this is the corresponding risk. And with anything, there's also the control description, how it's being tested by a typical auditor, the approach, and then the test performed, the results, and any of the applicable engagements, any of the covered, whether it's covered by the SOC 2 type 2 or the SSA 18, the latest version, the control owners who performed it, any artifacts, documentation provided as evidence, and if anything happens, you go through a control status gap remediation, management's response, and management's remediation plan. So it's kind of standard, like the security principle one. And in terms of the first one, how we would look at it is the entity establishes a written policy for the retention period according to the confidentiality document. And this is typically handled by the legal team. And sometimes the compliance team within the legal department would have a response for this piece. And in larger organizations, you'll have an automated system, and you want to look at to make sure that it's deleted, including the backups and things like that, in accordance with the policy. And then you want to look at the entity locates and removes, redacts specified confidential information. You want to look at that it's regularly and systematically destroyed. It erases or destroys the records in accordance with the corporate retention policy. And usually you'll have that as defined by the legal team as well. Disposes of the original archive backups and any of the ad hoc or personal copies of records in accordance with the destruction policy. Documents the disposal of confidential information that is no longer required for the purposes identified in its confidentiality commitments or systems of record. And this one, it'll typically there's a retention period, and it'll cover different schedules like 7 years and things like that for certain things, emails, regular contracts, documents, internal. And this is from a e-discovery perspective too. It's a consideration within scope for that. Wanted to cover, this is pretty short. The next one we'll cover would be the processing and integrity principle. And this is it for this video. Thank you so much.